Welcome back to another episode of Miles Annon Bodyweight Training. Today is going to be Pull-Up Fundamentals Part 2. So, those who watched the last episode, which was Pull-Up Fundamentals Part 1, I really hope you got a good insight into what it takes to at least to be able to initiate good grip. How to think about approaching the pull-up just from a really basic level. I feel that, like I said before, integrity is super important. So if we can get the basic elements spot on, then everything from there becomes, I'm not going to say easy, but it becomes a lot easier to do. So we're going to start today with the first progression of initiating, being at least high up on the bar. It's with something known as an isometric contraction. So, broken down very simply, an isometric contraction is a force where all your muscles are firing and active, but there's no actual movement on the joint. Okay, this is what this looks like. Okay, we're going to simply initiate that by just jumping up to the bar. So what you want to be able to do is set your standing height. Get a box, try to be a little bit resourceful. Whatever you've got in your gym or at home, whatever you've got available to you, try and set it up so that you can at least jump to get to the bar to sort of at least chin height. Okay, we want to sort of have our hands around about here. If you can somehow get it here, perfect. It's just going to help you out for future movements, but at least get it to chin. What we're actually going to do from there is just hold this as long as possible. Okay, this is gonna test your wrist, this is gonna test your forearms, this is gonna test your scapula. Okay, it's also gonna test your abdominals. You're gonna have to really brace and hold that position. So those who are actually used to isometric contractions, this is really gonna test you. It's actually quite a weird type of force to be able to just hold a position with 100% of your force and not move anywhere. A lot of people might know this by the wall squat, where you sit sort of down with your back against the wall and you just hold a seated position. Most people get kicks out of that for some reason, but anyway, let's not go there, don't worry about that. So yeah, you're just going to hold this position as long as you can. It's going to actually move on into the next phase, which is what we call the negative movement. Now, the negative movement of the pull-up when you're in this position is actually going to just be lowering yourself down really slowly. Okay, you happen to have a lot more control and you're a lot stronger in this negative eccentric contraction, which is what it's known as within the pull-up. So lowering yourself with as much control as you can is actually going to build up the strength to do the opposite, which is to contract concentrically and pull yourself up. This actually again ties into a little training method when, let's say, you're able to actually do two pull-ups, 3 pull-ups. On your last rep, when you think I'm not going to be able to make the next rep, hold the position as long as you can. Okay, and then your last one should actually be a negative. You just massively increase your capacity to work rather than just stopping the effort or the set and wait until your next one. You're actually always working, and by working the negative, is think of it as however many you do and a half of your set. So it's a nice easy way to just quantify overall workload. Once you've mastered these two, go ahead and just try the pull-up. The pull-up should look like this. Okay, you're going to focus on all those elements that we learned in the fundamentals part 1, which is to get your grip set right, contract in the scapula, and initiate your pull. Okay, there's no other secret other than to just contracting all your muscles and pulling as hard as you can. Okay, if you're able to do this to halfway, perfect. You can get the top of your head to the bar, that's brilliant. If you can get your chin to the bar, excellent. If you can get more than your chin over the bar and sort of chest to bar, this is going to be excellent. In order to get your chest to the bar, you're really going to need to squeeze in that top position. I actually just want to quickly stop talking about the pull-up itself and just touch a little bit on why I'm not really talking about how many sets and how many reps. A lot of people like to hear, oh, you need to do this many sets and this many reps to build the strength and do this and etc. this is not really about that. What this is going to be focused more towards is just getting a feel for the movement. Okay, and the reason why I'm not going over anything now is because in a future video that I do bring out, it's going to be targeted towards general strength increase or capacity increase, or endurance and stuff like that, and how to train effectively within those parameters. And you can actually quite generalize those elements of training in terms of reps and sets, depending on what you're actually trying to focus on. So like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how many reps and how many sets and how many minutes you should be resting in between all this, but just get a feel for it. Okay, your body will or won't be able to do it, so you need to just learn how to do these movements. Okay, I suppose then next what we need to be focusing on is, if you can do the pull-up, it's just a nice easy way for additional progression. It's actually something that's helped me out massively, because coming from the cycling background, I have very, very heavy, large legs, if anyone doesn't already know that. And what that means is that, if you remember me talking about the physiological profiles between men and women in my first video, I'm actually suited more towards the female physiology, in that my lower half is much heavier relative to my top half. So I've had to really develop, because one of the things I want to be able to achieve is a ring muscle up or even a bar muscle up, but in a very controlled fashion. Now, to do that, I'm having to really increase my pulling strength. So the best way I found to do that is to add weight. The way I like to add weight, and you can see in this video, is to use a sandbag. And the reason why I like to use a sandbag is because it really focuses on integrity and tightness. Okay, like I said before, I'm always going to talk about integrity, but think about this for instance. When you have, and a lot of people, you've probably seen this, when a lot of people are adding weight to their dips or their pull-ups, they add a belt and weight plates between their legs. And this is great for initially increasing the weight, but because you allow it to hang, it actually puts a lot of force on your lower back. Now, for me, this isn't good, because what you're not doing is you can't effectively engage that area. So what I like to do is use a sandbag, trap that sandbag between my upper legs, and really squeeze onto it. Okay, now it's evident that you're squeezing, because if you don't, the sandbag will fall out, and when you're pulling, everything is then connected. Okay, your legs are connected to your abs are connected to all of your sort of back muscles, your back muscles to your shoulders to your biceps, forearms, wrists, etc., etc. And I find that, again, this is just a much better, more integral way, and that will bridge many gaps between learning how to do other skills. So lastly, I just want to wrap something up. If for those who are actually observant, hopefully or probably would have seen something around my wrist when in my pull-up videos. That was this. Okay, these are Rice Sport. The brand happens to be Rice Sport. They're actually handguards. These ones specifically are for rings. The way you can tell that is for these two holes, which actually go on those two fingers. What I really like about these is they have this dowel in the middle. Okay, now what that does, once this is around your wrist, for instance, and I'll just get that like so, it creates additional circumference around the bar or the ring or whatever you're doing your pull-up on, and it sort of sets you up into that over grip position. Okay, because you're having to use a lot more of your hand to get around the bar. It prevents you really from just doing this grip on the bar and just hanging all the things that I told you ideally not to do in the first video, but it just makes your pull way more integral. So these are a really good buy, actually. Would I recommend getting any hand grips that don't have the dowel? Having used these now, probably not. I would definitely recommend something like these. If I think they're about £30 or something like that, but if you don't want to spend any money like that, then normal hand grips might be sufficient. You can get CrossFit hand grips, which will offer additional circumference, but not to that level. So yeah, I just thought I would, if any of you did spot that, I would just talk about that a little bit and give you a slight insight. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up here. Of course, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe and share it if you want. The idea is to get the word out to people to give them hopefully a fresh insight into training ideas and mentality. And yeah, thanks for watching.